Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Jack Myers with Social Security. Jack, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Seth. How are you?
I would be better if the Mets could win games they're supposed to in April. I know it's only April, but I'm a Mets fan. We're aggrieved all the time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm still adjusting as a Cardinals fan to being the opponent that you're supposed to beat. So, hey, it
Sure.
could be worse, right?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I feel that. It's just, yeah, it's just frustrating. You watch stupid mistakes that just end up costing you. That's the worst, especially this early. If it was July, August, it's the dog days of the baseball season. Doing stuff that they were doing 4 or 5 days in is just not okay. But all right, we got to get off our baseball soapboxes here, my friend. I apologize for that. And talk financial literacy month, Jack. Let's dive into this. What do we know? What do you want to talk about with financial literacy month?
Yeah. So, it is April, and in April, we celebrate Financial Literacy Month to promote financial education and well being in the United States. Kind of a one off on that is you could also think of it as National Social Security Month, something that we're kind of promoting to say, hey, think about Social Security in this national or Financial Literacy Month. You want to kind of be reminded that Social Security is a vital part of most people's financial plans. And so, as you start to think about finances and your financial plan, some of our online tools should be top of mind because they're available to help you understand what your potential Social Security benefits will be and how they fit into your financial future. So, I encourage you to go to our website, ssa.gov, look around, specifically look at the My Social Security account. Get that thing set up for yourself if you haven't already done so. Go digital, we say. Create your account today. Look at your Social Security statement. That's going to be a personalized record of your earnings history.
Mm-hmm.
And then also have those estimates of your future benefits, whether you're looking at what you would qualify for down the road in retirement, what you would qualify for if you were to become disabled. Maybe you're nowhere close to retirement, but you want to know what would happen if you became disabled. So you'd see what kind of Social Security eligibility you've built there. So, it is just that personalized summary that you can get for yourself. And it's a good part of any kind of financial planning that you're thinking about doing.
Sure, very good. So keep that in mind, and financial planning, Jack, is one of those things that you need to think more of than just more than just Social Security. We've mentioned this before. Social Security is not meant to be kind of that retirement fund that you fall back on when you're ready to call it quits in the workforce.
Well, it's certainly not meant to be the only source of retirement, Seth. There's for years I've been hearing metaphors about retirement requiring a three-legged stool, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
the modern day three-legged stool probably looks something like Social Security being one leg of that stool, your own personal savings being another leg, and then maybe a pension, more likely a 401k type investment account being that third leg of the stool. So,
Mm-hmm.
to have that really stable foundation in retirement, you're going to have to pay attention to all three of those legs. And, we'll be one of them, but I can tell you right now, if you're thinking Social Security will be enough to be your only source of income in retirement, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. That's just never really been how the system was set up. So you really do want to pay some attention to those other two legs. And we have resources to help you kind of look into that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
to learn about Social Security. We've got a page that's dedicated to financial professionals, information for financial professionals. So it's just kind of a collection of resources about Social Security. So, you can easily refer clients over to different types of information from our website, but it's not only accessible to financial professionals. I mean, anybody can go to our website, ssa.gov, in the search bar, type in financial planners and you'll get to that page, and you can see information about a variety of different Social Security topics. And that's a real good spot to start if you're looking to learn more about Social Security and how it fits overall into your financial plan.
Very good. So, all right, keep all those things in mind, Jack. And you mentioned a couple of websites. You mentioned, of course, the My Social Security account and the publications side of the Social Security website. How about those, Jack?
Yeah. So again, if you want to create your own account, that is strongly encouraged. So you go to ssa.gov/my account, or just go ssa.gov and look for My Social Security once you get there. And then also remember that we do have publications. So pamphlets, if you want to request them, you can actually request them. You can pull them up, read them in PDF form. You can also listen to a lot of them. A lot of them you can click and it'll just play it for you. So if you prefer that, you can hear that. And that's going to be available in our publications section, which you can navigate to once you get to ssa.gov, or you can go straight there at ssa.gov/pubs.
Very good.
PUBS.
All right, easy enough. Jack Myers, Social Security, my guest on the phone here this morning. Jack, let's talk understanding Social Security survivor benefits. Let's jump up to this one, and what do you have for us there?
Yeah. So, Seth, we kind of talked a little bit about looking at the Social Security statement to plan your future retirement or your disability benefits if that was applicable. But, another side of this, we offer survivor benefits. So, let's say if you're a parent who's working and you're trying to figure out what your family would qualify for in survivor benefits if you passed away, you can find that information on the My Social Security account as well. And to dive a little deeper into that, let's talk a little bit about who might qualify. So when a person dies, there are certain members of their family that will most likely be eligible for monthly survivor benefits. And, these can be paid when a worker paid into Social Security prior to their death and built up that eligibility for survivor benefits. And they can be payable to spouses and divorced spouses. They can be payable to children. In some rare circumstances, dependent parents can get them. I haven't really seen that very often, but it's mostly for spouses and children. So for spouse, a surviving spouse can draw benefits on your record if they're age 60 or older, maybe even as young as age 50 if they're disabled. If they're younger than that, it's possible as well, though, because if they're younger, but they have your child who's under the age of 16 in their care, or if you have an older child in their care who's disabled, then that younger spouse might be eligible for something on your record. And then there's also the possibility that an ex spouse could draw a survivor benefit. That's going to depend on how long you were married. For an ex to draw, you had to have been married at least 10 years before the divorce, and they cannot be remarried, or at least if they are, they couldn't remarry before the age of 60 or 50 if disabled. So, that's a possibility there. But then when we're talking children, for a child to draw off of you as your survivor, they have to be unmarried, and then they have to be under the age of 18, so a minor. But they can potentially draw that benefit up until age 19 if they're still a full-time high school student. So they could get it a little longer if they're still in high school at age 18. And then in some circumstances, older kids can also receive if they're disabled. So if your child became disabled prior to the age of 22, then they can still draw benefits as a survivor off your record. And, these types of benefits, Seth, are really important to people because, when you lose a family member, it's one of the hardest times of your life, for, emotionally, and the support and the love and all that stuff that you're dealing with that grief. But there's a practical side of it too, where, financially that can be devastating. And so these benefits can kind of help with that. They obviously don't fix everything you're going through, but to some degree, at least they can help financially for families dealing with that.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Jack, talk a little bit about one-time lump sum death payments and what those, how those work and who they go to. How about some of those things?
Yeah, that's a good question. So up until now, I've been talking really just about kind of like the monthly survivor benefits that are payable.
Hmm.
But there is a one-time lump sum death benefit. It's a small amount. I mean, it hasn't been adjusted through years, but it's a one-time payment of $255, and that's going to be payable to the surviving spouse if they were living with the deceased. Now, in some circumstances, if they were living apart from the deceased, they may be eligible. Mostly that's going to be if it was like a nursing home situation where, the person just couldn't be at home anymore. But that's, again, going to be payable to the surviving spouse. If there is no surviving spouse, a child who is eligible for monthly benefits on the deceased's record can qualify. So if you have a minor child or a disabled child who's receiving benefits on the record of the deceased and there is no surviving spouse, then that child would be eligible for the 255, or if there are multiple children, they could split the 255. But one of the questions we get, and this is probably the most important thing to address here because it might save you a phone call. One of the questions we get is, what if there's no surviving spouse, no minor children? Are adult children eligible for the 255? And unfortunately, the answer to that is no. If there are no minor children, no children who are eligible for benefits, no surviving spouse, then that 255 wouldn't be payable. So don't feel like you've missed out on that if you're an adult child and you're trying to wrap up a parent's estate. If they were the second parent to go, then that 255 most likely wouldn't be payable to anybody because it wouldn't be payable to an adult child who's not receiving children's benefits on the record of the deceased.
Very good. Jack, how do we get information on this and those sorts of things?
Yeah, so if you need to apply for survivor benefits, most of the survivor benefits, at least the monthly variety, you would have to make an appointment with us. So you could give us a call at 800-772-1213 or visit our field office locator, ssa.gov/locator, to find contact info for your local office. You'd make a telephone appointment and we'd take an application for the monthly survivor benefits for you as a spouse or for children. If you're wanting to apply for only the lump sum death benefit, in some cases that can be done online. So you can go to ssa.gov/apply and check out if you can do that. But again, the monthly survivor benefits, we still don't have that available online. So we need to make an appointment and have you file over the telephone for that.
Easy enough. Did we miss anything in that conversation you want to put out there, Jack?
Nope. Just one more thing I'll circle back to. If you're hearing this for the first time and you never thought about that, take a look at that My Social Security account, the statement, see what your family members could qualify for. I like to tell people, as you're planning for life insurance needs, don't forget about the insurance you buy every time you get a paycheck and have Social Security deducted, because that's essentially what this is. And so knowing about that might help you kind of shift resources in other directions if you don't need as much life insurance because of that survivor benefit you're already paying for through Social Security.
Sure. Very good. Very good. On that note, Jack, let's take a break, my friend. Come back with some more. Jack Myers, Social Security, my guest on the phone. More to come with Jack on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. We start the day in the green with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. May corn opening $4.59 up a nickel. July corn up 5.5, $4.70.5, and December new crop $4.85 up 4.5. May beans opening $11.73 up 4 3/4. July beans up 4.5, $11.89. November new crop up 5 1/4, $11.60 3/4. May Chicago wheat $6.07 up 9.5. May KC wheat $6.22 up 8 1/4. May bean meal $3.1630 down $1.90. May bean oil up $1.54, $68.62. Energy market June Brent crude oil up 8.10, $109.26. Looking at the opening numbers on this Thursday morning, I'm Jim Taylor, and this is the RFD Radio Network.
This is Inside Ag.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So that's August the 1st. Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest on the phone today is Jack Myers, Social Security, our guest. And Jack, let's talk about transitioning to medical CDRs and what this is all about. What's going on here?
Yeah, so, obviously we're throwing some jargon out there, Seth, with the CDR, but what's happening, we recently announced that we're making a change in the way we process our medical continuing disability reviews. So basically, we're moving those from the state disability determination services to our own federal disability case review site. And so that on the surface probably isn't that interesting to anybody, right? Like, kind of who cares about that from the general perspective. But let's talk a little bit about it, because it is pretty important. So medical CDRs are regular reviews that we're required to do to determine if people who are receiving disability benefits are still eligible. They're part of our ongoing efforts to, make sure that we're being good stewards of Social Security benefits and reduce improper payments. So if you're getting disability benefits from us, we have to review your case medically every so often. That's been the case forever, for a long time, I should say anyway. Forever is a strong word. But that's been the case, and it continues to be the case. So what that involves is we have to send forms to you. You fill out the form about your medical condition, any changes. We have to send it for a medical review. So we've been sending those to the state disability determination services. They're the same ones that make the medical decisions. So when you apply for disability, or if you get denied and you appeal it, those cases go to the state disability determination services. Well, if they're doing both reviews and initial claims and appeals, there are only so many resources to go around at those disability determination services. So that means some of their time is going to be split working on continuing disability reviews, as opposed to doing all initial claims and reconsiderations. Therefore, it's going to take longer to do the initial claims and the reconsiderations. By moving the CDRs out of the state disability determination services to our federal disability case review site, now the state disability determination services can focus all of their time on processing initial disability claims and reconsideration cases. So this shift is going to help expedite decisions for claimants and ensure that eligible individuals receive their decisions faster. So that's the important. That's why it matters to people that this shift is happening. It should help to continue driving down the backlog on initial disability cases, which really has been going down for some time now anyway.
Yeah. That's where I was going to go next, Jack, is, maybe those folks that are still waiting, if that's something that is happening now, maybe if someone's still waiting on a decision like that, hopefully that is coming sooner than later with this change.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the expectation, Seth. Just talking a little bit about backlogs. In June of 2024, the DDS initial claims backlog was at an all-time high, with about 1.25 million claims pending. By February of this year, that had been reduced more than a third down to about 830,000 claims. So that's still a significant number that's pending, but that's really good progress. And we're thinking that, this shift is only going to improve the drop in that backlog, if you will, and
Sure.
hopefully shorten the amount of time it takes to get that initial medical decision or the reconsideration decision for people who are applying for disability benefits through Social Security.
Anything else on that, Jack?
Nope, those are the main points on that topic.
All right, let's finish up, Jack. I got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes with you. Status of your Social Security benefit claim online and how to check it.
Yeah, perfect timing. So we're talking about pending claims, whether it's a disability claim or retirement application, any type of claim that you filed with Social Security. If you want to know the status of it, you can log into your account, ssa.gov/myaccount, look at that My Social Security account, and you can get the status of your claim. Once you're logged into your account, you can see information like the date of filing, the current claim location. If there is a scheduled hearing date and time, you'll see that. Incomplete application. So if you think you've completed the application, but you really haven't, you'll see that. So that's kind of important. So oops, I have another step I have to finish up. So again, that's the status of your claim. And you can find that within your My Social Security account at ssa.gov.
Very good, Jack. Well, again, you mentioned ssa.gov, best place for a lot of information. Any other ways folks can follow Social Security?
Well, if the online services aren't for you, of course, you can give us a call, 800-772-1213.
Jack, always good to talk to you, my friend. We'll talk to you in May.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
Thanks, Seth.
can't believe we're in May already, by the way. It's, man, the year's flying by. Jack Meyer, Social Security, our guest on the phone. Stay with us. Network News comes your way next. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Network News comes your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520, WHOW Clinton.